most memorable hunt? Not necessarily the biggest deer, the most memorable one.
Most memorable. Actually, watching my son shoot his first turkey was probably I had more fun watching him shoot things and harvest things and just go than I ever have doing it myself.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and I've killed 4 or 5 elk, half a dozen antelope. Like I said, had bears charge me. I've been on bear hunts and not killed one, but yeah, watching him, he was 4 when he shot his first turkey. So at the bottom of the stairs is the fan and spurs, and it says shot by Corey Jorgensen, age 4, on the Curry Farm, which was my sister's place.
Did you bring a gun?
I brought 3 bullets, like I always do.
A wrist rocket. Are they the same 3 bullets you brought last year? Because I don't think you shot.
Stop.
Yeah. Good, because I was going to stuff the Lord and buy something.
So I grew up in Polk City and graduated in '87. And the whole time I was growing up, my game plan was I was going to fly F-16s. My uncle was a jet engine mechanic at the air base, and I knew enough about him from that and seeing him down there that was my end game. It was that or nothing. So I spent my whole freaking high school career taking classes I didn't belong in: trig, calculus, physics. And I had 60 people in my class, so it was always the valedictorian, the salutatorian, and me. And there was this big gap. Everybody's like, what are you doing in there? And I fought and clawed and struggled through all those classes. And my senior year, I go to the pre-physical, took the ASFAB, and find out that I don't have 20/20 vision. And they sit me down and they're like, hey, you can't fly anything. And right now you can be a navigator, but they're not going to get better. And if it gets a little worse, you can't do that. And I shot that turkey right there in 1990 during a break at school. I had 2 hours off. I shot to Madrid from Ankeny, ran into the timber, sat down and called, and that bird ran me over, and I shot him. And I ran it over to Brad Colson's taxidermy shop and left it. And then I stopped in to check on it later, and I was actually taking business classes, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I got kind of interested in taxidermy just because I had grown up. I mean, all I thought about was hunting and fishing growing up. And so while I'm standing there, I asked him where he went to school, and it was out in Phoenix. So we called to sign me up while I was in his shop. And he's like, you're pretty serious, aren't you? And I said, yeah. And one day he's like, you're really figuring this out. He's like, do you want to just stay here, do an internship, and learn through me? Finished the business classes at DMAC. Always kind of want to be in law enforcement, and immediately started taking criminal justice classes, and I went and tested down in Ottumwa to see what the test was like. And then I went to Urbandale and kind of had a chance to work my way through a little bit of everything there. And so I got promoted and went in there taking care of my people. And my end game in it wasn't to tell them what to do. It was to make them to where any day I didn't come to work, they could step up and fill my shoes. And then in November of 16, let's start talking about it. I sent a group out from roll call, and it was at 7 at night. We were on 12-hour shifts, and we had been up to this neighborhood the night before on a shots fired call. And we get up there and nothing was there, and I see lights going down east of there, and it's actually where Polk County and Des Moines and Urbandale come together, and we get down, there's some brass laying in the road. So the next night we come in, and I send everybody out, and there was a bunch of stuff that kind of affected me later. I came in, and the night before that, we had people there that were off the next night, and people working the next night that weren't there the first day. But these guys love to rotate territories. And I always had a schedule on my desk to help them rotate the territory. And then I always put kind of my most productive officer roving. So just made them floating around where they wanted to go. Well, that night we didn't have enough for a rover. We go in the range, and they called Andy and Justin to a shots fired call at the same place. And I looked at him and I said, why are they calling him? He's on break. And so I jumped on the radio, said, sub me in for him. And then I looked at Andy, I said, well, they're back at it. We think it's the same group from the night before. And we're thinking, this is in Des Moines. And when I got to the fire station, the dispatcher came on, her voice is all messed up, and she tells me she has multiple reports of an officer down. Julie had stayed home from work to see if I needed anything, but I was so tired, I thought I needed sleep. And I laid down, and that was when all the images and nightmares started. And I finally came down and said, I can't sleep, I can't shut my eyes. So of course I get on the internet, and it keeps saying you got PTSD, and I'm like, bullshit, I'm a freaking sniper. I'm a freaking 21-year cop and sniper. I don't have PTSD. So I tried to push that down. I tried to hide it and fight through it, and they didn't give us any time off of work. So I was actually back into work the next night. I've been up for 2.5 days. On the way in, one of the guys asked me in the parking lot how I was doing. I said, not good, man. I said, I haven't slept since the day before that happened. And I said, I don't know if I should be here. And I sat down at the kitchen table up there, and I was going to shoot myself. I looked up on the wall. It's still up there as a collage of pictures from when our kids were real little. And I looked up at that and I said, no, you're not doing that to them. So I called one of the few people I could trust, and they brought me some help from Iowa cops. And Des Moines Peer Support Program came out. And that's kind of where my journey to trying to get out of that hole started.
Yeah, I hit that a bunch. I hit that thing like 2 or 3 times. 3. Alright, hold up, I gotta. Oh my gosh, I can't load this, I'm shaking right now.
I think he's shaking now. He can't load his gun.
Johnny.
I saw the bird and I shot it.
How many times did you shoot it? Was that pretty cool or what?
I think I hit him.
You think you got him? I think you got him.
I mean, he's dead, for sure.
But the day we took my son, and the goosebumps I had watching him shoot his first pheasant over the dogs. The dogs were blowing my mind. So they decide to do this dog show in the short grass, and I'm thinking that's a hen. You know, he's walking up, I'm thinking a hen's gonna get up, and this rooster comes up, and I thought, no way. And then when it went over his head, I thought, no. And he spun and shot it, and then either later that day or the next day, Nathan's picture came out, and I almost started crying to see that you captured that. I haven't seen the video yet, but just that picture, as the fact that's on camera, is priceless. It honestly, like, you cannot put a price on that. None of that stuff of me actually in the field as a kid is anywhere in a picture. It's all on the patio next to the house with whatever I got that day. Well, so we haven't had the ability to pheasant hunt for over 20 years, and got invited up today and didn't realize it was going to be like the good old days, and came up here and saw well over 100 pheasants. And Corey had the opportunity to shoot his first pheasant today. How'd that go?
I shot 2.
Shot 2.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Someone yelled rooster, and then I shot a bunch. I don't know. It's fun.
It's fun, and if you get invited out to have this opportunity, please don't turn it down. It's a one-time experience for most folks. You have got to take care of your people, or they're going to have shorter careers than you want them to have. And that's, like I said early on, that's what I told my people, is I will take care of you. And partly because I'd had some bad supervisors, and partly because no one had taken care of me. And to be able to go, people look up to their commanders, and it's kind of their father figure in the department, or mother figure if you got a female supervisor, but they need to be able to lean on you a little bit. And there's times you need to be able to let them bend your ear, and all you need is someone to listen. The more approachable they are and the more human they can be, the more they're going to help their people succeed and have long careers and be healthy in the end.